Really? Again? Again? Seriously? Wasn't last time good enough for you guys? What am I saying? Of course it wasn't good enough for you masochistic... all of you! Gotta give the people what they want. We're back. We're back at Monster High. Yay! Yeah, it's been quite a while, hasn't it? I haven't talked about a Monster High movie in over a year. And if you saw the last review that I made on this bullshit franchise, then I'm sure you understood why I had no intention on coming back to this piece of shit film franchise. But because I'm a holiday man and I actually believe in celebrating the right holiday at its appropriate time, save for that one exception. Oh, just shut the f*** up already, will you? I thought that the time was finally right to return to this beloved franchise. But this time, I'm going to be taking a look at the new, rebooted franchise because even Monster High themselves knew how terrible the last series of movies was. So, with all that being said, let's head on into...
Welcome to Monster High!
Oh god, it's almost like they were waiting for me to come back to it. So the movie begins by actually deciding to answer the question as to where Monster High came from. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that Monster High wasn't just shot up by some greedy-ass company for the sole purpose of money? Holy shit, no way! So the movie begins with Draculaura learning how to fly with her father, but the problem is she's having a hard time getting it right. Even though she's 1600 years old and should probably know how to fly by now. Hey, look, you guys should know me by now, okay? I'm an asshole, okay? I'm gonna be an asshole.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not impossible, just challenging.
I did it!
One thing you'll notice right away is that the animation has actually gotten a lot better since the previous movies. While still nothing special in its own right, the animation this time around is a lot more colorful and smooth. The character designs have also changed quite significantly. While sure, the main characters don't look that different, the background characters, however, are very different. These monsters are all very unique and diverse and look like, well, actual monsters. These designs, while again, nothing special in their own right, look like they actually did have some effort put into them. They didn't just put antlers on a Yeti and call it a day. So Draculaura wants to go to a concert for a pop star she likes, but the problem is that A, pop music sucks, fight me, and B, she's a monster, and...
Monsters do not belong in the human world.
Then where do we belong?
Wait a minute. Is this actual conflict? And it's about something people can actually relate with? What the fuck? What the hell's happening? We're not even 10 minutes into the movie yet. And something's actually going on? So Draculaura is upset about not being allowed to go to that shitty pop concert, fight me, but unfortunately was seen by somebody else, leading them to her home. This is where we meet Frankie, and right away the two become best friends. After becoming friends, Draculaura and Frankie begin thinking about meeting other monsters, and they then get the great idea to create a school for monsters called Monster High.
If only we could, but it's impossible. Not impossible, just challenging.
Wait, did Draculaura just grow as a character? What the fuck? What the fuck? Is this movie actually gonna be competent? What the fuck? Yep, as a matter of fact, it turns out that Welcome to Monster High is actually a competent and decent film. I am not shitting you. I mean, sure, it's obviously not going to be groundbreaking or extraordinary in any way, shape, or form, but given the last 3 films I've reviewed, this is a huge step up. We're only 15 minutes in, and already we've begun to establish a strong connection with Draculaura and her father. We've established a motivation for our main character, who for the story is Draculaura, and we already have found ourselves relating to her in some way. Sure, it's nothing super deep or anything like that. It's not Littlefoot losing his mom or anything, but I think anyone can relate to just wanting to find the place where they belong. You actually kind of feel for her when she updates her vlog and nobody watches it. It's surprisingly more powerful than I make it sound. You really get that feeling that Dracula is really lonely, and it doesn't feel too forced, repetitive, or in your face about it, surprisingly. You also kind of feel for the dad, too. All he really wants to do is make sure that his daughter's happy, but at the same time, keep her safe. That's kind of the main reason why he decides to go along with her plan to make a school out of their old home. This also leads to some serious questions that I asked before that were never answered in the previous movies. Like, remember when that one guy whose name I've completely forgotten about who lived on an island was now, like, living at the school that was never explained? Well, in this movie, it's explained that Monster High is like a boarding school somewhat. So the students are, in fact, actually living there. It also retcons a few things here and there, too. Like that Headless Lady is no longer head of the school, but instead, now it's Dracula's father, which actually makes for a lot of great possibilities for both comedy and drama. So as the story goes on, they begin to meet all of the other students from the franchise. Claudine, Cleo, Laguna, you name it. But we also get to meet a new character in the series. Someone who doesn't like the idea of a school for monsters and simply wants to wipe out humans because, well, we need an antagonist for some reason, and like I said before, this movie is nothing amazing, so of course the villain is honestly going to be kind of stupid, and her name is... Oh my god, it's so stupid. Her name is Monica Decay. Shut the fuck up, Chewie. So yeah, Monica Decay is the villain. Don't make me come over there, you fucking nerf herder. So Monica wants to wipe out all of humanity and take over the world because I honestly have no fucking idea. I honestly don't get why this movie needs her to want that as her motivation. Why can't she just be some snooty popular girl like Cleo used to be or something? I get that that alone would be cliche as fuck, but at least it would have made sense narratively. Her wanting to take over the world and wipe out humanity without giving us any actual logical reason behind her motivation just makes the whole thing seem kind of silly and dumb. She also has this zomboid army that always follows her commands, but it's never really explained why they follow her orders either. She doesn't try to seduce them or anything like that. She doesn't try to manipulate them or promise them anything, and it's implied that they are in fact smart enough to think for themselves. But hey, I guess we gotta have some conflict, and putting pretty much the entire world at stake over a school presidential election will totally do the job. You see why this sounds stupid? So both Dracula and Monica run for class president, and Monica, being the running cunt that she is, points out that Monster High isn't really helping the monsters out that much. Along with helping monsters meet each other and make friends, Monster High was also built so that humans could see that monsters are not all that scary after all. Monica points out that the monsters, and especially Dracula, hasn't even attempted to make contact with the humans, and the monsters are really just kind of hiding together now. So Dracula decides to promise to get that shitty pop star that she, along with everyone else for some reason, loves so goddamn much. I'm just saying, man. This movie would be a hell of a lot better if Five Finger Death Punch was in it. And of course, that goes about as well as you'd expect. The pop star is afraid of the monsters, or so it would seem, and Dracula is upset about disappointing everybody. But when the day comes when the school gets the vote, everybody still votes for her despite her failure. This was a genuinely kind of nice subversion, as usually this story would have had Monica win, and the whole story would do what she wanted. But at the same time, it also would have made the rest of the student body look like assholes, because Dracula already did a lot of good for the students in bringing them all together. So to have them acknowledge that by voting for her really was quite surprising. Yeah, too bad it doesn't change the fact that Monica wanting to take over the world is still a pretty dumb idea. Seriously, all you really need to do to fix her is just kind of reel her in a bit. And by reel her in a bit, I mean reel that sucker in. Speaking of some school dance, after winning the election, Dracula decides to have the dance anyway, despite not getting that pop star to play at it. The party goes along pretty well until Monica actually kidnaps that pop star from before and tries to turn her into a monster in front of everybody. Yeah, that's actually something I kind of like with this new update. The monsters actually have powers that they can use whenever they want to. Sure, they had this too in the previous series, but here it's a bit more fleshed out and coherent. Claudine, for example, being a werewolf, can actually turn into a wolf whenever she needs to. Dracula also has this bat voice power? Actually, it's kind of neat. I like it. Frankie can shock people. Laguna is super fast for some reason. Yeah, I honestly don't get this one. And Cleo can wrap people up with her bandages. I actually like seeing the monsters have powers and using them whenever they need to. The movie actually ends with the monsters fighting Monica's Zomboid army and using their various powers to defend themselves and each other. And it's actually kind of fun for what it is. I mean, I know this isn't exactly Endgame, but I think what makes it nice is how this kind of reflects on everything Draculaura has been fighting for throughout the entire film. In the beginning of the film, all Draculaura ever really wanted was a place where she belonged and friends who she could spend time with. And after getting that, she wanted to take the extra steps necessary to make sure that her desire wouldn't just disappear so easily, which is why she wanted for humans to both understand and coexist with monsters. Even the movie's ending tells us that her fight isn't really over yet, and she still has a long way to go before her dream is a reality. It's not a super neat, happy ending, but it works for now. It's surprising, isn't it? Monster High actually told a competent and coherent character arc with one of its characters that wasn't based off some bullshit first world problem or done with the skill of a preschooler finally learning how to put the circle through the circle hole. I get it's nothing stellar or amazing, but given what I've seen before with this franchise, to see this crap actually work and them to pull it off is absolutely astonishing to me. I can't believe it. Oh, and there's also this twist that the pop star is actually a monster herself. Yeah, that's a thing.
I did not see that coming.
I feel like this twist ending actually does make things a little better as, like I said before, Draculaura's fight isn't over yet. If the pop star was in fact a monster and she suddenly had her mind changed because the monster saved her life, it would honestly feel really cliched and forced. So to have her be a ghost who can change her appearance whenever she wants, and for her to become an ambassador for the monsters that humans can get behind is, once again, Draculaura taking those steps to ensure that her dream is one that can last. Again, it's not a super neat, tight, happy ending, but I like that. I actually like how they don't just end on a super happy ending like that. There's actually stuff that needs to get done in the later movies. Of course, Monica disappears, and I assume she's in the other movies and is the villain for those movies too. I don't know, and honestly, I don't care. I honestly don't think I'm going to review any more Monster High movies after this, unless you guys really want me to. And knowing you masochistic fucks out there, you probably will. But I'm at the very least happy to admit that Welcome to Monster High is surprisingly okay. For a Monster High movie, that is. It's competent, it knows what it's doing, and I guess as harmless entertainment for little kids like 10 or under goes, this is okay. Like I said before, this movie isn't anything special, and it wasn't enough to change my feelings on the overall franchise, but at the very least, this movie is okay. There really isn't anything else I can say about that other than that. I mean, I guess I could bring up some of the cringy dialogue that's in here, because that's there. But at the same time, I could also bring up how this movie actually has a lot of quiet moments that actually lets the characters breathe and take things in. Even Big Hero 6, the series, doesn't do that! Hell, I know it's not saying much when you're being better than that shit show of a show, but still. Why was this movie surprisingly okay? Hey everybody, it's Razor. I just want to say thank you guys so much for helping me reach over 1,600 subscribers this month. I am absolutely flabbergasted by how much my channel's blown in this last month. At the beginning of October, I had 1,500 subscribers, and now that we've reached the end of October with Halloween, suddenly we're at 1,650, or at the very least very close to it, which is absolutely insane. So, I guess a lot of that comes from my Primal video, which in itself also blew up. It is currently right now my second most popular video, period, which is absolutely insane. I cannot believe it got that popular. I honestly didn't even put that much effort in that video. At least, I mean, I did put effort into it, obviously, but, like, it's absolutely... I just wasn't expecting it to get that popular. So if you're from the Primal video and you subscribe because of that, welcome! I hope my stupid shit really makes you happy. But no, in all seriousness, I want to thank you guys so much for helping me with that. It's absolutely awesome. I can't remember the last time my channel blew up like that. Maybe since Guest Show, my channel didn't grow that fast so quick. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So thank you guys so much. So for the next review, I'm probably going to go ahead and do that full-on Primal video where I do all 5 episodes. And then I'm probably going to be focusing on the holiday stuff from that point on, where I do like a Thanksgiving movie, and then December is going to be mostly Christmas. And then in January, I'm going to bring back the Disney sequels, because I know you guys want to see more of the direct-to-video Disney sequels. And I already know which one I'm going to do next. A friend of mine actually asked me to do this one, and that's the one I'm doing next. After that, we'll figure it out from there, but that's kind of the plan I have for the next couple of months. But I just want to say thank you guys again so much for helping me out with this. It's absolutely awesome. You guys are awesome. And as always, I will see you guys in the next thing, whatever I make. So stay awesome, guys. And as always, rock on. Hey, don't look at me, okay? I had nothing to do with this. This is really from the movie.